Zadon Electro Ninja here, and welcome back to Electro Ninja's Lab. In today's video, you guys, well, more accurately, Jeremiah recently asked me a question on my last video about Arthur's Miraculouses. Now, first off, like I said in that video, I'm honestly not sure how many, uh, what miraculous he would have actually had. But this question is basically how many miraculouses are there most likely, and when will they start to appear? Or when will they just appear in general? So the first question is pretty easy. The first thing to note is that for each of the boxes, I'm going to say right now that there are 19 total miraculouses per box. This is mostly because of the fact that there are 19 miraculouses in the first box, and making sure that there is an even number distributed between all of the miraculous boxes would be something that the Guardians would have done. Even if there were actually a whole bunch more for that would fit in certain boxes, this way it still makes a bit more sense. So, obviously, then we have to discuss what boxes there are. Currently, the only one that we have actually seen is the Chinese Miraculous Box, which is obviously using the 12 Zodiacs, as well as the 5 specials, as well as the Black Cat and the Ladybug. Now, as that is the case, I believe that there is going to be a Zodiacal group of Miraculouses for each box, which is the 12, and that is one of the biggest factors to determining what exactly there is. Now, obviously, certain ones that are easy to pinpoint that there most likely will be a miraculous box for is the European, which is going to be based off of the Greek miraculous, or the Greek zodiac, and the North American one, which is what I did research on those. That's why I know that those would be an actual thing. As for other locations, really knowing what exactly the zodiacal symbols would be is rather challenging. Basically, no one really has a full zodiac to the same extent that either China or the Greeks had. No one was really into astrology or astronomy as much as those two groups, and as such, it's hard to really pinpoint the other locations. However, I have said in the past that most likely there is one per continent, meaning that there is obviously the China one, which is the Asia one, the Greek one, which is the European, there is the North American one, the South American one, the African one, and the Australian one. Now, could there be other miraculouses? Yes, there absolutely could be in those different locations. I actually would not put it beyond the possibility that there could very likely be an Indian miraculous box or even a Russian miraculous box just because of how big of those areas are. Um, but the thing is that we also have to look at mythology in a lot of these different areas and figure out exactly how that would work. Meaning that actually takes a lot of time. So figuring that out is going to take a long time to actually pinpoint if there are actually other miraculous boxes. But I would also like to point out that there are 3 miraculous boxes that likely wouldn't have actually connected to any of these areas. These being the Dark Miraculous Box, which I've talked about before is the Transylvanian box, and we're going to try and figure out what all of those miraculouses could be, but it takes so long, like I said, for all of these miraculouses to just figure out what they could possibly be, aside from obviously the zodiacal ones. And there's only 3 zodiacs, so figuring that out is really hard. But then there's also the oceanic one, mostly because of the fact that I believe that Atlantis was a thing in this universe, and them having a miraculous box would actually make a lot of sense. So, yeah, there is likely a actual miraculous box that usually would go to Atlantis, and that is the water miraculous box. There is also likely a Arctic slash Antarctic miraculous box. Basically, 100% there's going to be a reindeer, a bear, and a penguin miraculous. Likely a few other things as well, but I don't want to get all of your hopes up for what exactly there could be. It's just that those ones kind of seem likely that there would be actually some miraculouses in that location. So, yeah. As for when do I think that these miraculouses will actually show up? Well, the simple fact of the matter is that we don't yet know. I do believe that in season 4 we will actually be seeing some of these miraculouses. Specifically, I would imagine that we will be seeing either the South American box show up, or the North American box. Mostly because these two are pretty odd ones, and they actually make a lot of sense with the images that we've actually seen recently. And it also wouldn't surprise me if this miraculous box just so happened to be outside of the location during this situation. Um, as for the Dark Miraculous Box, which is the main focus of that comment, I do not believe that the Dark Miraculous Box is going to get revealed until at least the Chinese special, as Marinette has to go to Tibet before that miraculous box is even revealed, let alone anyone actually receives a miraculous from it. This is mostly because of the fact that the Dark Miraculous Box has a lot of miraculouses that will corrupt people. Certain miraculouses have the possibility of corruption, such as Plague and Nuru, and also Dusu. Those three are very likely to actually corrupt people, just due to their what powers they have. They allow people. The Dusu and Nuru both have the ability to give great power and to just random people, meaning that if that's actually a thing, then those can cause a lot of destruction. The same goes for, well, Plague. Plague is the Kwame of destruction. There has to be a balance to all things, but I honestly feel like the Guardians would try to keep the ones that could actually corrupt people to a minimum per box, such as why there's likely at least one Dark Miraculous per box, these being the equivalents to Plague. Basically, dark, the opposites. Likely there is a Death Miraculous box. There's a Death Miraculous and a Life Miraculous in South America. Mostly because of the fact that I don't think that the North American one would have actually received it, just due to the fact that there's a lot more to go with the Mayans towards death and life than it is for the Native Americans. So, yeah. There's a lot that goes on with that. And just due to how complicated that is, means that there was likely a lot more miraculouses that were considered evil than we actually were told. These miraculouses would be kept in a special box to keep them safe from everyone. Now, one of the biggest questions is, will this appear in the Halloween special? Which we do know that there will most likely be a Halloween special eventually, but the problem is that with that, a Halloween special can't necessarily have those miraculouses, just due to how dangerous these miraculouses are. Now, absolutely, we will be seeing these miraculouses before the season 5, because of the fact that by the point of season 5, we will need to be introduced to Senior Rat, who likely would have actually been holding the Rat Miraculous, which, keep in mind, I am giving this Miraculous to the to the Dark Miraculouses. So just due to that, he has to get that Miraculous, which is going to cause a lot of problems. Like I said, Dark Miraculous is just not good. Now, if the simple fact of the matter is that we don't know when this Halloween special is going to be coming. So far, it hasn't even been confirmed since its first announcement. The only ones that have actually been confirmed, yes, they are coming, is New York, Shanghai, and football. Those ones are the only ones that are actually coming soon. The rest, no one knows. We know that there will be a Halloween special eventually, but it's not now. Plain and simple. And if it's going to be between season 4 and 5, then sure. I could absolutely see the Halloween Miraculouses making an appearance there. But in actuality, they are likely not going to get that much of an appearance. Instead, we are most likely going to be seeing smaller portions of the Miraculouses. Basically, random Miraculouses showing up just out of the blue. Because, quite simply, we know that some of the Miraculouses are, plain and simple, out there. There have to be some Miraculouses that weren't at the tower, or at the Guardian Temple, during the events of Feast. As such, that's what's going to most likely be happening. Good Miraculouses are going to be just found randomly, just happen to happen. And eventually they are going to find their way to Marinette, and she is going to either choose to give them back to their previous holders, or instead to take them and bring them to the Guardians for safekeeping eventually. But more than likely, she's going to find these people and realize that they're actually really good people and decide to let them keep their Miraculouses, but eventually they will have to meet with a Guardian to actually have the Miraculous be taken from them. It all remains to be seen, but that's honestly what I feel is going to actually happen. The simple fact of the matter is that I don't feel like we're actually going to be seeing full-on Miraculous boxes for a while. The fact of the matter is that, as of right now, we haven't even seen all the different powers for this first box. And I don't think that we're even going to see all of them, everyone using a Miraculous, until the end of Season 5. Maybe a little bit earlier, but really there's only going to be maybe 3 or 4 Miraculouses given out from the Miraculous box in this special, in Season 4, and then they're going to need to finish them off in Season 5, if they're still going to be going with the schedule that I gave them. But honestly, the way that it's currently looking, I don't know. I honestly can't say for certain if they will actually take on Hawkmoth by that point. And the biggest thing is that in order to defeat Hawkmoth, they do need to have everyone using a Miraculous. So, for now, we don't know. That's the biggest thing. But I do think that we will be seeing the Miraculouses show up little by little, and likely, like I said, the Dark Miraculouses probably will not even make an appearance until Marinette actually goes to see the Guardians. And that will be the box that goes out with a Guardian to actually find someone to be using it, and the box will probably be destroyed, or not necessarily destroyed, but all of the Miraculouses will be scattered, and Marinette and her team are going to have to find them, and it just so happens that one of them made their way into the clutches of Monsieur Rat. And it's going to be a big issue. So, yeah, that's the current looking. That's currently what it's looking like. If you guys have any theories about this, then please let me know. I would love to read them and, of course, talk about them in the future. But anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like. Leave your thoughts and theories down in the comments below. If you are going to leave a theory, make sure to say theory review somewhere in your comment. And of course, if you are new, please subscribe and ring that notification bell. And if you want to support the channel even more, then definitely head down to the description and check out all of our links down there, just like our current patron, Sheeny. Thank you. But on!